All right, class. Hope everybody's doing well. Just want to talk about the final essay prompt. Yes, I said final essay prompt. The light at the end of the tunnel is now visible, and soon all of your suffering will be over. Just a few short weeks. So the third essay is about 1984, and we're going to be writing an argument about what the text is doing and why it matters. So writing an argument about a work of literature is very different than writing a summary of a work of literature. If you sit down and write a 3-page essay summarizing the events of 1984, that is not an essay, that is a book report. So the first stipulation I want to make is that I am not asking you for a book report. I'm asking you to make an argumentative essay which answers the question I'm going to ask about whether or not his vision was correct. So I'll go ahead and read the prompt to you, let you know what the requirements are, and then I'll talk a little bit about what I expect. And then hopefully this will make this a little more clear. So 1984 shows us a world afflicted by constant surveillance, a domineering government, and the destruction of individuality and free thought. Was Orwell a kind of prophet, meaning he could see the future? Or was he a paranoid pessimist, meaning he was just crazy and didn't really know what he was talking about? So in order to answer the essay question, you need to explain how Orwell's vision has come to pass, either in the US or abroad, or explain how it has been proven false by the progression of history. So in other words, was Orwell right about his concerns in 1984, or was he wrong about them? Now, you could say, well, he was right and wrong, and that is the case. But for the purpose of this essay, I would like you to choose either or. He was either correct or he was not. Then what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to use at least 2 secondary sources which pass the CRAP credibility test to either defend to either proclaim Orwell a prophet, like he could see the future, or he knew what he was talking about, he had a good vision and a valuable vision, or he didn't know what he was talking about and he just predicted a bunch of stuff that didn't happen. You are going to need to look at credible sources that show you the nature of our reality as either being Orwellian or not. So things like domestic surveillance, we have that. Things like social media companies and propaganda news outlets and all this different stuff. All of this stuff factors into 1984 and how we interpret it. So you're gonna want to use sources as proof to answer the question: was he right or was he wrong? Like I said, 2 secondary sources. You got to have 5 well-developed paragraphs. It needs to be between 1,000 and 1,200 words. The introduction must have an attention-getting hook and effectively introduce your thesis statement as the last sentence of the introduction. Each body paragraph must have an identifiable topic sentence, generally the first or second sentence of the body paragraph, substantial major and minor details, and transitional words or phrases indicative of the rhetorical strategy you've chosen. Remember, each rhetorical strategy has its own set of common transitional words or phrases, right? We don't really need to go over that. This is going to be argumentative, basically. So if you use the argumentative transitions, that should be fine. It needs to be MLA format. You got to have Times New Roman, 12-point font. You got to have your works cited page. You got to cite the primary source, meaning the novel, and you got to cite the secondary sources, meaning the articles or the website stuff, whatever you find to prove your argument. So make sure that you go over that stuff again. I know there were some problems on previous essays, and of course, please don't plagiarize anything. If you use anything from another source, you must quote and cite it. If you don't, it's going to be problems for everybody, problems all around. So I will go over, as we do the lectures about each book of the novel, I will explain some of the parallels that I see between the novel and our society or our reality as it is now. And so you won't be completely in the dark by the time you come to write this essay. You'll have a pretty good idea of what Orwell's vision was, what it means to be Orwellian, and whether or not that is happening in our world or not. So if it seems a little unclear now, I do think that as you watch those lectures, things will be a little easier for you. I can maybe even point you in a couple of directions of some sources and things like that if you're having a hard time. I know some places to look where you might be able to find good information. So that's pretty much it. This is our final essay. We've only got this and a couple other assignments, so we're almost ready to close it out here as it gets near the end. So if you have any questions for me, you know how to reach me by email. Otherwise, have a great day.